What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. My name is Mistress Carrie, and this is what we do. Can you guys hear me okay? I don't think this microphone is... I downloaded an update to the software, and it is not working right. Can you hear me okay? Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey. All right, I think it's working. All right, let me try that again. Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. My name is Mistress Carrie, and every Tuesday night at 8:30, live on my Facebook page, we get together for a show that has gotten us through the COVID lockdown and has gotten us out the other side. This is episode 134. This all started back on Tuesday, May 14th of 2020, and the show has grown significantly over the last, 15 months now or so. You wouldn't be able to tell by the production value that I got going on. But what I'll tell you is coming in loud and clear. Okay, as long as you guys can hear me good. So the software that I use to run the War Room, I'm a little crooked, needed an update. And you guys know how it is anytime you download an update for anything, your computer, your phone, your DVR, your gaming device. It doesn't really matter whatever the upgrade is, no matter how, it's going to fix bugs. It's going to bring you these new features. Anytime you download an update, it's always really scary. And so I never like to be that person that downloads the update like as soon as it comes out. I always kind of like to wait a little bit to make sure that there wasn't a mistake in the update. Well, anyway, I waited too long. And I had to update the software that runs the War Room. And I waited too long, and then I had to download the software, and it was taking way longer than I thought. And I was still on the air, and there was a lot of craziness going on. And so now I got the update running. It looks a little bit different on my end, but if anything looks different on you guys' end, you're going to have to let me know. But so far, I think everything's good. Everything transferred over. The updates are fine. But yeah, you guys know how it is. Whenever you download a new update, you think everything's good and then it's not good and whatever. So welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. For anybody that is not familiar with Cocktails in the War Room, first of all, if this is your first time joining us here in the War Room, please leave us a comment because everything is all screwed up. Leave us a comment so that we all can welcome you properly here into the War Room. There are a lot of people that haven't missed an episode, and there are 134 of them, and so we've become quite close. We also have a bit of shorthand and some inside jokes, so I don't want you to be left out. So if you go to mistresscarrie.com, go to the blog section. Go through my blog post. You're going to find an early post called Dictionary, which is where we kind of compile all of our inside jokes and terms and phrases that we use here in the War Room. And we kind of jot them down. And then when a new one comes up, people usually comment and they're like, put that in the dictionary, put that in the dictionary. So you can kind of get caught up with the lingo. So your hair is purple, says Mickey. I know, huh? Yeah, it looks way better when Linda does it as opposed to during the height of the lockdown last year when I was dyeing my own hair in my bathroom like a lot of other people around the country. And it looked like a slaughterhouse at the Muppet Show. I mean, it was really bad. And so now that things are back to normal and I can visit Linda, the hair is on point. Who is on your shirt? Jonathan wants to know. So let me see if I can so this is my friend's nonprofit organization. It's called Throttle Therapy, and it's all about connecting veterans through motorcycles. So they sent me a shirt, so I wanted to wear it for you. So there you go, Throttle Therapy. I want to thank those guys for sending me the shirt. We have so much to talk about, guys. Seriously. I just noticed my necklace was all screwed up there. How are you guys? Did you drown over the holiday weekend? Did you build an ark? Did you have any fun at all, considering the weather, at least in the Northeast, and from what I could see all along the Eastern Seaboard, not cooperative for a long weekend at all? Hey, everyone, it's been a long time for me. Been helping my daughter so she can sell her house. What's going on, Brenda? You workaholic. Welcome back. Let's see. So happy your contract expired and you are back on the air on the Pike. Well, hold on a second, Valentino. I don't think you know what's going on. Do we need to address rumors right now? First of all, my contract was broken the day that AAF went off the air. So let's clear up some stuff. Nothing was keeping me from being on the radio once AAF went off the air, other than the fact that we were in this little global pandemic and radio stations were laying staff off and people were working remotely. The reason that I'm back on the air on the Pike is because I applied for the full-time job that I have at Westwood One, which I'm also doing. And once I got in at Westwood One, who's owned by Cumulus Media, who owns the Pike, they were like, oh, wait a second. You already got Mistress Carrie and she's working for you. Can she work for us too? So it didn't have anything to do with my contract at WAAF. All of that language and verbiage and all of the stuff that AAF had me sign for my employment a long time ago, that stuff all became null and void when the radio station went off the air. It was about finding the right opportunity. It was about navigating COVID. And so here, Wednesday over there barking. Wednesday! It was just about navigating the pandemic and trying to find the right opportunity while being able to build my company and keep the war room going and launch the podcast and the website and the merch and the online store and all of that stuff. So Wednesday, come here. Hey. Hey. Wow, she's wound up tonight. So to make a long story short, there was no reason why I couldn't go on the air before. It was just a matter of waiting for the right time. Okay, so let's see. Yes, Wednesday is barking, Patty, I know. Valentino says, I was mistaken. I thought your hands were tied. No, and you don't have to apologize. You can ask me anything you want. Oh, wait, hold on. We might have... Hey, what's all the barking at... Wednesday, come here. Do you want to come and play with your toys? Hey. Obviously not. All right. Wednesday, come here. Come here and see me. Come here, I'll put your camera on. Come on. I'm trying to find a squeaker so she'll stop barking. Come here, Wednesday. Come here. There, you want to come up this way? All right, come here. I know. Say hi to everyone and apologize for barking at them. That's not nice. For anybody that's new to the War Room, this is my co-host, Wednesday. Hey, do you want these? No, she wants to go. I don't know what the hell's going on. Tonight's just a mess. I'm just going to drink. Can you guys just drink with me for a second? And maybe we might have to restart the show. Does everybody need to bark tonight? Oh. It's going to be one of those nights. Where's the ducking stingray, Joe? I don't know. Scott, you can ask anything you want, whether or not I want to answer you or not. If I can't answer you, if it doesn't violate my own sense of privacy. Yeah, Mark, she is pissed off tonight. I don't know why. But I don't want you guys to have any kind of false information about stuff. And like I said, I don't want anybody, I don't have any ill will towards my own company. So I don't want anybody thinking that my own company or my old company was holding me hostage and keeping me from being able to work, or it wasn't like that at all. It was just a matter of finding the right opportunity and just being able to make it work. Is there a full moon coming? I don't know. Is Mercury in retrograde? What else are we going to blame all this weirdness on? I'm drinking for you. Thank you very much, Ricky. I appreciate it. Can't drink. Going to work around 10:30. Thomas, I will drink for you. Cheers. Elsa, it's funny you ask about my garden because I have a picture for you. So I took this picture. Well, first of all, let me preface it by saying this. Thank you guys for all the love over the last week. Last week, during the War Room, my husband was here because he was home on leave. For anybody that doesn't know, my husband's active duty military and he's been stationed overseas. He came back for a bit, was home on leave. He's gone now. He's back overseas. The last few days have been a little rough. They always are after I say bye to him. But this time last week when we were sitting in the war room, he was actually here in the war room sitting behind the camera. And so I wanted to show you some pictures. So there's a picture of like behind the scenes in the war room. That's his view. And he took a picture of me gloating about the family bowling trophy. And he was like, really? Did you have to gloat about the family bowling trophy? The night before he left, a bunch of his friends and my friends came over to kind of be able to hang out with him and to say goodbye because he's not going to be back for who knows how long. So that other picture is the spread. I put together our charcuterie tray from hell and had munchies on the counter, and it looked so pretty. I took a picture of it. So I wanted to share it with you guys. The other two pictures are Wednesday on different days, on different beds. That's how she's been laying all friggin' weekend. And I wanted to share the pictures with you guys because she's out of her mind. So one of the things that I was able to do in some of the downtime that I had with my husband was just get some projects done around the house. Like sometimes it feels good just to be able to do a little something around the house. And so one of the things I was able to do was kind of finish getting the garden planted and finish getting it worked on. So Elsa, to answer your question, how's the garden doing? There's the garden. I want to thank my neighbor for the donation of the Featherstone flamingos. For anybody that doesn't know, my hometown of Leominster, Massachusetts is where the original 50s plastic pink lawn flamingos came from. And if you have original Featherstone flamingos, if you look on the belly of the flamingo, it should say Featherstone. And that is the signature of the guy that actually molded them and produced them. And it's a thing in Leominster. There's a lot of flamingos everywhere, and they have flamingo festivals, and everybody's got flamingos on the yard. Not so much to be kitschy and to have flamingos in the yard, but because it's a Leominster thing. And so one of my neighbors gave me a couple of Featherstone flamingos, and so I put them in the garden. So there you go. So there's a picture of the garden. The peas have been really weird. I'm hoping that all of the rain and the cold temperatures we had over the holiday weekend kind of kick the peas into high gear, but there's a lot of stuff that's really starting to come up and things are really starting to grow. And so the garden's starting to look good. So what's going on, Tracy? Let's see. Garden looks amazing. Thank you very much, Donna. Keep it private so people can't stalk her. I don't know what you guys are talking about now. Now I can hear you. What's up, Betty? How are you? Beautiful tray. Thank you very much. Why is there a big cock in your garden? David wants to know. It was a gift. I have become one of those people, as you guys are very well aware here in the War Room by the things that you guys send me in the mail call. I get a lot of really weird stuff and I collect a lot of really weird stuff, and my family encourages that. So that big cock that's in my garden was a gift from one of my cousins, actually. And so I put it in my garden every year as kind of a joke to her. And then when she sees me take pictures of the garden, she always just laughs about the big giant cock that's in my garden. Let's see. Carol says, looks great. Your garden is so neat. Thank you very much, Paula. I got to tell you, with all of the time that I spent in MCHQ and that I spend in there every day, either working on the podcast, the sit rep, obviously working on the radio and all of the other stuff, it's really nice to like be able to go out in the garden and like putz around and weed a little bit. And it always looks really nice at this time of the year. But by mid-August, when it's growing like crazy and the weeds are starting to take over, it doesn't look as nice. But right now it's very neat. And I like to have everything neat and have rows and places that I know I can walk. And I take pride in it. So Tuesday, the Goth Flamingo, says Mohawk Dave. Hey, oh, guys, my niece Addison is watching again, so behave yourselves. Hey, Ads. I have my nieces that I've talked about on the show before that don't live in New England, and I don't get to see them as often as I would like, and they tune into the War Room sometimes while they're hanging around getting ready for bed so that we can hang out together. So, hi, Ads. Did you plant flowers do you plant flowers in the yard? Heinz wants to know. I have a pretty strict rule that if anything's going in the yard, it's got to grow back. I don't mind having like, there's flower boxes. I'll show you again. Like there's flower boxes hanging on the edges of my garden that I put like flowering stuff in because I'm trying to attract bees so that they fly around my garden and pollinate stuff. But I have a pretty strict rule about landscaping that I don't like to spend money on flowers that aren't going to grow back, or plants or shrubs or anything. Like when I plant something, I know I want it to be there forever. So I do pretty much all of the landscaping work around the yard. We do it as a family sometimes too. The family gets together and does it, but I really like being able to do it. Wednesday! Knock it off! The production value on the show keeps going up. Oh, all of a sudden somebody, are you going to come up? Come here. Wednesday. Hey, come here. Come here and see me. Come on, come over here. Come here. Why are you so riled up tonight, huh? Tell everybody that you're sorry for all of this barking. What's the matter? Are you okay? It's okay. Say hi to everyone. I know, you're kind of wound up because the weather's been so shitty, huh? Can I rub your belly? Can I? Oh, let me rub your belly. Hold on, let me turn the pug cam on so you can see this ridiculousness. Hey. Come here. Come here. Come here. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Shh. See? There you go. Is everything okay now? You got a boogie on your eyeball. What's going on? Sit down with everybody. There you go. Look at that. See? See? It's okay. It's okay. I think there were dogs barking on the TV in the other room, and she was like freaking out. Hey, hey, hey. You can still hear the TV in the other room, actually. I probably should have turned that off before we started the show. Again, the production value on the show is just going crazy. What's going on, David? Let's see. I will try to send you some really cool flower bulbs. Oh, okay. So yeah, so to get back to the flowers, what also is happening that I'm noticing is that I put bulbs in the ground and sometimes they don't grow for a year or two. And then all of a sudden shit just starts growing that I forgot that I planted. So every year in the spring, there's stuff that I either forgot that I planted or surprise things, or she's resisting arrest, says Thomas. Wednesday is a little spring fever. Yeah, she's got something. I don't know what's going on. Usually she gets a lot more exercise than she got over this past weekend because I run her around the yard a lot. But, and I also bring her into the garden because it's enclosed. So while I'm in there working on it, she like runs around and eats half my plants and starts digging holes and doing all of that other stuff. But she didn't really get to do a lot of that stuff over the weekend because it was just pouring. So let's see. Do not plant mint. It takes over, says Barbara. Too late. There's mint in the garden. You can see it actually. See it all along the edges. So there's chives in there that grow back every year. There's mint on both sides of the garden, but I keep it. It's allowed to grow along the wall of the garden, but I cut it down anywhere else that it grows. And this year, what's really strange is I had to ask some gardening friends about this. So last year, the cilantro that I had planted in my garden seeded, and the seeds scattered around the garden. And so this year I have rogue cilantro just growing in my garden unexpectedly. Who knew? Got to go drink more. Hey, Annie Ange. Cheers. How's the bulbs? Everything is going okay. So no cannabis, Diva wants to know? No. You can't grow that outside. You have to grow that inside. Because you have to be able to like control it, I guess. But no, I'm not growing weed. I'm just growing vegetables. How are your peas? So the peas were not doing well. That early like 90-degree weather and stuff, the peas did not do well this year. So I put some more seeds in the ground, and I also got some seedlings and put them in there. And I'm hoping that the cold, wet weekend that we just had helps to get the peas growing. So, but it has not been good for the peas, and the lettuce needs some sun. So I'm hoping over the next few days the garden really starts to take off now that I know it's super watered. So, okay. So can we just like start the show now? I feel like we haven't even started any of the stuff that we normally talk about because Wednesday's been the great disruptor today. Went to my mom's grave and put flowers down. Lisa, a lot of people do that. I know my family does that Memorial Day weekend every year is they take that time to get together and they go to all of the relatives' graves and clean them all up and put flowers down. And it's something that I talked about a little bit actually in this week's podcast episode with Andy Biggio, was researching the lineage of my family, a little project that I started over COVID with my sister. And so I think it's going to be one of those things that as we start to track down these older relatives in generations past in the family, that we're going to try and start more of this Memorial Day weekend pilgrimage where we're going to visit the ancestors of the family that we didn't even know we had that we're just starting to uncover now. And I think it's just really nice to go to the cemeteries and kind of decorate the graves and make sure there's flags on the graves of the veterans this weekend. And, but yeah, a lot of families go and decorate the graves this weekend, and it's just really nice. My whole yard is full of weeds. Get the pipe, says Mickey. Okay, on with the show, says Jonathan. I can't get to the mail call yet. We got to talk about the podcast first. So let's do the podcast recap, shall we? So wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, so Andy Biggio, last week's episode, which, by the way, was episode 51, right? Am I wrong? What? The wheels are falling off the wagon. So episode 51 is Andy Biggio, who is the author of The Rifle. He's a law enforcement officer. He is a veteran of both Iraq and Afghanistan, a Marine veteran. And he wrote this amazing book. And I wanted to have him on the podcast last week because the book, The Rifle, that's the cover of it right there on the screen. The Rifle went on sale today. So if you guys have veterans in the family, if you like reading about historical war stories, I would love to be able to help Andy in the first week of his book sales. The link to buy the book is linked on the podcast episode, and it is available as of today. So congratulations, first of all, to Andy. That's a picture of Andy and I with Wednesday, of course, and the rifle here in the war room. Now, I did take some pictures of just the rifle, leaned up on the famous war room green couch now, and I'm going to put those pictures up. But I wanted you guys to be able to see the cover of the book and to know that it is on sale today. I just listened to Andy's podcast today. Great work. Oh, thank you, Richard. Let's see. Great podcast. I ordered the book. Awesome, Hines. Thank you so much. Got my copy today, says Mark. So people that pre-ordered it, they were able to get the copies today, but it officially is released today. Michelle says, I ordered it. I'm so excited. I ordered The Rifle. He's a hero in our heart, says Joe. I just think it's amazing, the stories. And if you guys aren't following The Rifle on social media, you really should check it out. Not only on Facebook, but the Instagram is really, really powerful. We actually talked about it in the episode because there are all of these great little videos and photos of the trips and candid photos of the guys, or the veterans, I should say, that have signed the rifle. Andy is one hell of a guy, says Mark. I can't wait to get it, says Michelle. Let's see. I was insinuating that her software upgrade changed her hair color. Sorry, I didn't get the joke. I pre-ordered the book. It was an amazing podcast. I wanted to go with him on his next trip with the vet, says Paula. I know it's one of those things where it's like, it's almost too late now. You know, like he talked about in the episode, these guys are dying at such a astronomical rate that we are losing these World War II veterans so quickly. And there's so many of us that have a World War II veteran in the family. My grandfather that we talked about, that I've talked about here in the war room multiple times, died back in 2006. And he was in his 80s. But all of his stories went with him because he really didn't share a lot of them with us. I have a couple cousins that joined the Navy and followed in his footsteps. And I think they were able to hear a few more of my grandfather's stories than anyone else. But it makes me sad that there's so many of my grandfather's stories that I'll just never know. And Andy talked about that, about, this is these veterans' last chance to get their stories out, which is why so many of them were willing to talk to him, because they don't want the younger generations to forget what they fought for. They don't want them to not know what they went through to protect democracy, not just here at home, but around the world. And so this book is, he's got hundreds of signatures on this rifle. How do you select just 22 for the book? And he had that really difficult job of doing that. And he talked a little bit about, how he went about selecting the stories in the book. So if you ordered the book and you haven't listened to the podcast yet, hey, Duncan, thank you. If you haven't listened to the podcast yet and you order the book, by the way, Duncan, who's chiming in here in the war room, is the historian. He's a historian in France that helped Andy do a lot of the background research when they brought those veterans to Normandy and brought them to Belgium. And Duncan is a British veteran himself. So there's a lot of work and a lot of research. Andy is an incredibly knowledgeable guy when it comes to World War II. And to be able to sit these veterans down and be able to document their stories before the world can't hear them anymore. I can't wait to read I have not read the book yet. I didn't want Andy to give me a copy, just the same way that I always buy a copy of my friends' albums when they go on sale. I always, when I have a friend that writes a book, I always want to buy a copy because I just want to, that's like my little way of helping. Like when I go to a concert of a friend's band, I always try to buy a shirt too. And because I know that that's how the bands make their money and that helps them. And, let's see, Barnes and Noble in Leominster has it, says John. It's one of those things that I just want to buy my copy. So I'm going to buy my copy, and I just might go to the store and buy it so that I can go through the shelves and see it on the shelf. And I'm just really proud of Andy. I've known him a really long time. I was so honored that he chose to do my podcast, and there were such great reviews on the interview. And now I'm just hoping that all of us here in the War Room can help drive the sales of his book forward. So I'm really excited about that. We at the Patriot Guard are doing Korean and Vietnam vet funerals for the most part these days. The World War II guys are almost all gone. That's the sad part. And so we got to have these stories written down. Heidi says, my grandfather was in the Battle of the Bulge. He would tell me all of the time. He passed in 2019, but he would go around and put May baskets and mowed the lawns at the cemetery every year. My grandfather never told us the stories about the war. We were too little, and then we were preteen. And yeah, teenagers are assholes, and we don't ask these questions when we should. Let's see. So I'm glad you guys really love the episode. Like I said, if you know a veteran, if you're friends with a veteran, if you have one in the family, please share the episode, and just get it out there, because I just want to help Andy with his book. It's been years in the making. He has poured his blood, sweat, and tears into this book. And I can't imagine what that's like. I guess for me, my only equivalent is like all of the work that it took to build MCHQ and to launch the podcast, but like to have this tangible thing that's now available to everyone. There's all of this work and all of this dedication and research, and then it's a thing, a physical manifestation of all of that work, to be able to sell it and to donate a portion of the proceeds, which I believe he's doing to the Boston Wounded Vet Run. There's just so much rolled into it, and I'm just so proud of him. And so please check out the podcast, and please order a copy of the book if you haven't done that already. All right, this week's podcast episode is Chris Daughtry. So episode 52 of the Mistress Carrie podcast features Chris Daughtry, who has been on a ride since most people learned his name when he was on American Idol. And we talked about it in the podcast episode, which, by the way, this goes live at midnight. We talked about it a little bit, how there are a lot of people in rock and roll, myself included, that were really skeptical that now American Idol was going to tell us who our rock stars were. And there was a lot of pushback with Chris Daughtry that people thought he was just this manufactured rock star by the television and that he didn't have talent. And we all met him because of the television, but none of us really knew his story, where he came from, his musical background, the fact that he had been making music for a long time. And I had never really had the opportunity to get to know him. There are a lot of people that I love and respect in music that have told me, wait until you meet this guy. You are going to love him. He's a great guy. He is a true rocker at heart. And I'm talking about the guys from Sevendust and Shinedown, guys like that. And one of the things that Chris and I talked about in this week's podcast episode is how hard it is when you launch and you get popularity based on something like a television show, and then you get a record deal and the record company wants to kind of mold and shape who you are and your music and where it's going and who's playing it. And he had a lot of those struggles over the years. And now he's an independent artist. And so to hear him talk about being able to really be in control of his own destiny and to be able to make all of the decisions and to be able to have his creative vision come to life, whether it be the videos, the songs themselves, the instruments, the playing, the artwork, the merch, the tours, literally everything is now in his control. And he's so excited about it. He just released, I'll let you in on this little bit of inside info. We did the interview and he wasn't allowed to talk about the cover of Hunger Strike that he did with Lejeune from Sevendust. He talks at length about the inspiration that Chris Cornell was on him. And he talked about Lejeune, but he could not talk about the Hunger Strike cover. And then they announced it after we recorded the interview. So he alludes to a lot of stuff in the podcast episode, but there was some stuff he wasn't allowed to talk about quite yet. And Shannon says he was robbed. He actually talks about how it was a good thing that he didn't win American Idol because becoming a finalist and not winning is almost better. I mean, Jennifer Hudson didn't win either. And it kind of shows like maybe the biggest stars don't always win per se. A lot of them do, but not all of them. American Idol is renewed for season 20. Well, there you go, Frank. But once I got to know Chris, and you'll hear it, like we just had a great conversation. And I really look forward to being able to go see the band, to meet him in person, and to kind of be able to pick up where the podcast leaves off. I think you guys are really going to love this episode. I think getting to know him in this way, hearing him talk about the rock and roll that inspired him. He's got some great stories about Dave Grohl, and I don't want to give too much away, but I think you guys are really going to love this episode. So I'm really excited to say that episode 52 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, which is sponsored by Digital Federal Credit Union, is coming out at midnight. So you get new full-length episodes of the podcast every Wednesday, and I'm super excited for you to hear episode 52. So if you have not subscribed to the podcast yet, not only do you get the full-length episodes every Wednesday, but you get the sit rep. So Monday through Friday in less than 5 minutes, you get all your rock news, music headlines. You hear everything boiled down super fast. So while you're making your coffee in the morning, you're running the kids to school, or you're just going out to get the mail in your pajamas because you work from home and you just don't give a fuck anymore. Like whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You get all of these music headlines, rock news, everything within 5 minutes so that you can get about your day and at least feel like you have an idea of what's going on. The Sit Rep is sponsored by the Maine Hair Lounge. So we want to thank Linda and everybody at the Maine Hair Lounge for that. And if you're looking for the Mistress Carrie podcast, this is just a small sampling of the places that you can go to find it. There are tons of places Obviously, all of the big ones like Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, Pandora, radio.com, which is now Odyssey. There's just so many places. Wherever you listen to podcasts, if you search the Mistress Carrie podcast and you find that artwork right there, you know you're getting the right podcast. And if that fails you and you don't listen to podcasts really, and you maybe just want to check this one out for the first time, just go to mistresscarrie.com and you can literally click play on the episodes and they will play right off the website. So either way, we're still holding strong at 102 countries. However, what's exciting is that now Australia is the number 2 country listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast in the world behind the United States, which is crazy. So I want to say what's up to all the Aussies that are checking out the Mistress Carrie podcast, which is great. You guys have sexy accents and everything in your country and on your continent is trying to kill you. Let's talk about some music headlines, shall we? So new albums come out on Fridays. So the new releases for this week are Atreyu, Black Veil Brides, and Cleopatra. Now, you'll hear a lot about the making of this latest Atreyu record. Brandon Soller actually was on the podcast a few weeks ago. And so if you go back and listen to that episode, you can hear him talking about this latest Atreyu record that comes out on Friday. And just last week, Jack from Dead Poets Society, one of the bands that he was talking about that's kind of driving rock forward right now is this band Cleopatra. Their debut album is called Bummer, and it comes out on Friday. So there you go. Some more music headlines for you. The Knotfest Roadshow got announced today. The show is going to the tour is going to kick off towards the end of September. It is Slipknot, Killswitch Engage, Fever 333, and they are going to take it, I think it's like 24 dates, and it's coming to the Xfinity Center, and it's coming in October. And the tickets go on sale Friday, and the date is added to the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com, so you can check it out. Three Doors Down is headed out on the road, marking the 20th anniversary of their album, The Better Life. The closest tour date in New England, I believe, is in Rhode Island, and Seether is going to be on a lot of the dates, but not all of them. So depending on where you're watching The War Room, depending on where you're going to go and see this tour, you want to check the listings. A lot of these tours right now, bands are already committed to some shows, so they couldn't commit to a full tour with another band. So they're like, well, I can do these dates with you guys, and then I got to go and do this festival. So unlike a lot of other tours where the headliners and the support bands are the same all the way through, there are a lot of tours right now that are swapping opening acts just because of availability. So any tour that you are going to see, double check the lineup and make sure that the openers that you think are going to be there are going to actually be there. For example, it was announced today that Wolfgang Van Halen's band Mammoth WVH is touring with Guns N' Roses. He's signed on to do the entire tour. Now, the debut album from Mammoth WVH comes out next Friday, the 11th. And Wolfgang has talked, I've been trying to get him on the podcast. I'm working on it. Wolfgang has talked about playing his dad's Frankenstrat guitar or the Frankenstein guitar on this album. And he has signed on to do the entire Guns N' Roses tour. That includes the date at Fenway Park. And I will tell you that Mike Shue all this week on 100 FM, The Pike, is giving away tickets to the Guns N' Roses show with Mammoth WVH at Fenway coming up in August. So if you want to win some of those tickets, make sure you listen to Mike Shue this week, 6 to 10 on 100 FM, The Pike, or you can listen online at pikefm.com if you are not in the listening area of The Pike. All right, let's see. Here's some events and some info. I am going to be at Sheldon's Harley-Davidson this coming Saturday afternoon. So one of the other things that Mike Shue is doing is he is giving away gift cards to Sheldon's, and Sheldon's is qualifying people to win a 2021 Harley. I think it's an electric glide. It's beautiful. And they're also giving away trips not only to Laconia, but also to Sturgis. And so on Saturday afternoon, they're giving away the grand prize, and I'm going to help them do that on Saturday. So if you are going to be out and about on the bike, it's going to be in the 80s this weekend, at least in Massachusetts. If you are going to be out on the bike, come to Sheldon's Harley-Davidson on Saturday afternoon, starting at 3 o'clock, and I will be joining you there and helping to give away a Harley. I also want to remind you guys about the Pikes DJ welcome party that's happening on July 10th at Rascals in Worcester. Mike Shue and I are officially being welcomed to the Pike. Chuck Perks is going to be there to host the event. And it's the first time that the radio station is kind of able to welcome Mike Shue and I officially in person to the radio station because of COVID. So I'm really excited. And the details on both of these are not only on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com, but also on the Pikes website, pikefm.com as well. Okay, so let's get to the mail call. So I got this in the mail and I'm super excited. It's kind of a joke. So Aaron Jones and I have been sending each other stuff in the mail. So I found out recently that Aaron Jones's wife and he are expecting a new baby. So I sent them the Made in Lockdown Mistress Carrie baby onesies that I have available in the online store at mistresscarrie.com because he needed to have them. So I got something from Aaron Jones today. So one of the things I found out about Aaron, and I think he talked about it like a little bit in the podcast episode, but we're going to have to drill down deeper on it the next time that I talk to him, is that he is an ultimate Frisbee national champion, which is, it just blows my mind. He's such an amazing guitar player. He's such a great songwriter, vocalist, performer. I had no idea. Like when people say, oh yeah, like Mike Shue plays Frisbee golf and he does it as a hobby and he's pretty good at it, but he's got friends that are like amazing at it. But when I tell you that Aaron Jones is legit like a national champion, like he's got medals and stuff. So I sent Aaron the baby onesie and I got this in the mail with a little card too. And Aaron Jones made custom Aaron Jones Ultimate Frisbee Frisbees. Which I absolutely love. So thank you for my Frisbee, Aaron. I hope you enjoy the baby onesie and congratulations on the baby. And I'm going to take you up on the offer to come here in the war room and I'm going to work on that in the next few weeks. So we'll see what happens. I also got this card from our boy Travis here in the war room. So first of all, he sent me a sticker that's going to go on the desk in MCHQ. It just says, and look at this, like how awesome is Oscar Mike Radio? Like they have custom thank you cards. It's very not dude-like for you to have nice thank you cards. Very sweet. Thanks for making the video for Richard, talking about Richard Fitz. Watching him as we put all of this together in the clips, yours really touched him in a positive way. It meant a lot to me and I appreciate what you did. Every minute of every day counts. All the best, Semper Fi, Travis. So thank you very much, Travis. If you did not get a chance to watch the screening of 21 Years of Folded Flag over Memorial Day, it's up in my blog. The stream is still available. I wanted to tell Richard and Travis, because I know you guys are here in the war room. Richard, you know that I love the movie. You know that I've loved it. And I just think it's such an amazing job. Travis did an unbelievable job. Travis, you knocked it out of the park this weekend. Memorial Day weekend is one of those times where there's a lot of opinions and you see a lot of posts on social media about how people are supposed to respond to this weekend. That you need to pay tribute to the sacrifice of the families and of the actual heroes that never came home, which is why we commemorate Memorial Day. It's also a time that a lot of veterans who served with men and women that didn't come home, where they want to be living their best life because that is what their fallen brothers and sisters in arms would expect of them. That they wouldn't be squandering the happiness that they have by being fortunate enough to come home. And so there's that thing with all of us, right? That the best tribute, the best way to commemorate the sacrifice is to enjoy and exercise the freedoms that have been granted to us, that have been protected for us by those that have fallen in battle. At the same time, we should take time out of that weekend and that holiday to make sure that we're keeping top of mind the reason why we have it in the first place. And so I think, Travis, you did an amazing job over this weekend of really making sure that people had a tangible educational way to be able to keep that sacrifice top of mind. Richard's film is something that everyone should see. It really encapsulates what it means to be a Gold Star son, how difficult it is to grow up not knowing your father. His case is a little bit different because his father died on a classified mission in Vietnam, or actually in Laos, where he wasn't supposed to be. And it took 21 years to get some kind of closure. But for any Gold Star child to grow up with that missing parent, and for a Gold Star wife or husband and parents, there's a void that's always there. And Memorial Day weekend for them is not a celebratory barbecue, let's go buy a new mattress occasion. It's an occasion for them to have the rest of the country feel a little bit of the pain that they feel, and almost for the rest of us to shoulder that pain for the day for them. We can't take it away forever. It's not possible. They lost something that's irreplaceable, but we can all shoulder that burden for them, at least on that day. And I just thought that the way that Oscar Mike Radio and Travis kind of handled Richard's film and the screening and the live stream of it, I just thought was amazing. So if you have not had a chance to watch it, it is still up online. Take some time to watch it. If you get a minute, rather than Netflixing and chilling, you could just watch this instead. You can put it on your smart TV and make it just as big as any other movie. But I just thought it was great. All of the links, everything are up in my blog at mistresscarrie.com to make it easier for you guys to find it. So that's what was in the mail call this week. So Travis, thank you. I'm going to add your little thank you card to the wall of fame in MCHQ. I have not quite decided what I'm going to do. Ooh, I just hit my mic stand. What I'm going to do with Aaron's Frisbee. But I got to tell you, I'm kind of in love with his logo. It's very cool. I don't know if this is like a competition disc or not. It's way too big for Wednesday because I know you guys are like, oh, throw it out in the yard with Wednesday. I don't know if she's going to be able to pick it up, but I will try it. That's the address, by the way, for mail call, just in case you need it. The Mistress Carrie online store, there is supposed to be a debut of a new thing this month. It was back ordered. I'm waiting for it. As soon as I get confirmation that it's on the way, I will let you guys know, but that's the update on the store. Otherwise, right now, everything is in stock and I can get it shipped out fairly quickly. I'll also remind you guys that the shipping, it's happened a few times that people, whenever they order something, they just click an order and they don't know that like the express shipping is the default option from the post office. That part I can't control. And I feel bad if you pay this extravagant shipping cost. I get the merch shipped out really quickly. You don't have to pay for express shipping. So whatever you're ordering on the website is going to get mailed out in the next few days because I got nothing else to do. So your stuff's getting mailed out. So you can go to mistresscarrie.com and know that your stuff is getting shipped out. Now, the people that have the Backstage Pass, Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass gets you a bunch of stuff. You get exclusive live streams that we do every month, which, by the way, the next live stream is happening Sunday at 7:30. So we're going to do that. We get together every month and talk and brainstorm ideas and check in on each other. Kind of like the War Room, but it's a smaller group. So we're able to kind of really get into the weeds on some stuff. They also get discounted codes for stuff in the store. And so this month you get a discount code. You get $20 off of all of your beverage stuff. So pint glasses, shot glasses, and koozies. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you get 20% off for the entire month of June. I did that because the masks and social distancing and all of this stuff is gone. So you're actually entertaining people at the house now. You're actually going to parties and barbecues. You got to keep your beer cold and you need good glasses. So you can get them at mistresscarrie.com. You also find out who's on the podcast earlier and find out who I'm interviewing so you can submit questions as well. So those are just some of the benefits you get, and you can get a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass. Just click the link on mistresscarrie.com, or you can just go straight to Patreon /Mistress Carrie. All right. Today your birthday? You know somebody born today? Did you guys notice there's a lot of birthdays around Memorial Day weekend? What was happening 9 months ago or 9.5 or 10 months ago that people were doing that there are so many freaking birthdays around Memorial Day? What was happening 9 or 10 months ago? Is that September when the kids go back to school and people are getting freaky deaky? What's going on? There's a lot of birthdays around this time of year. Yes, I love crystal skulls, Heidi. Thank you. Putting your patches and hats that fit me. One is purple too. That's fantastic, Travis. Thank you. I'm going to do bandanas. I got to find the right ones, Donna. I'm going through the production of it. Like, I asked for samples and they send them, and then I got to go back and get designs worked out. It takes a long time, and then they send me mock-ups and whatever. But there's a lot of birthdays around now, and I don't know why. So if today is your birthday, you share it with Ronnie Wood, Pat Boone, Brandy Carlisle, Alanis Morissette, and Graham Russell, who, if you don't know him by his first name, is from Air Supply, by the way. So happy birthday to you if today's your birthday. See, Alexa says my birthday's Friday. What is it about like late May, early June birthdays? There's a ton of them. Summer vacation babies. Oh, is that what it is? Mine is 25 days from now, going to level that up to 44 that day. Fantastic. Warm summer night, says Eric. 43 years ago for me today. Well, happy birthday, William. See? Yeah. Yes, Kathy. Yes. Devil horns. I'm waiting to find out that they're produced. I'm waiting. So happy birthday to everybody that has a birthday today. That ginger beer is gingery today. And a reminder of just all the places you can find me online. I do want to put a plug in for Cameo videos because Father's Day is coming up. And if you are looking for something super fun for your dad, your brother, your uncle, your husband for Father's Day, I have a Cameo account and I will make them custom Cameo videos that you can give to them that they can post up on their social medias and stuff on Father's Day. So if you are looking for something to give them and you don't really know what, go to my Cameo account and I will make them custom videos. And the cool thing about the Cameo videos is that they're custom done. So whatever information you supply me with, I can make a custom video for them. Inside jokes, ball busting, family jokes, sentimental stuff, whatever it is. You put it all in the description of the Cameo video and I can make it for you. You can also find me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, of course, Patreon, we always talked about. And if you ever forget anything, just go to mistresscarrie.com. It's all there. My birthday is Thursday. See, Mickey, I'm telling you, everybody's birthday is like right around now. It's crazy. Backseat of a 57 Chevy, says Mark. That's where you... See, now I was born the beginning of October. Late September, early October birthdays, or those are New Year's babies, baby. And I know for sure that's where mine was because my parents told me. And now I'm scarred for life on New Year's Eve about the thought of that was the night my parents had sex and made me. And it's gross. I don't even want to talk about it anymore because it just ruined the rest of my night. Whew. Summer solstice births. It's a fertile month. Okay. Well, there you go. So that's it, guys. So episode 52 of the podcast is coming up at midnight, and that features Chris Daughtry. Really excited for you guys to hear this episode. The playlist for it is awesome. We talked about a lot of great bands as well. And if you have not heard his duet with LaJean Witherspoon, the Hunger Strike cover that they did, that's on the playlist for sure. So you can check that out. And then I'll see you guys on Saturday. Sheldon's Harley in Auburn. I'll be there at 3:00. Stay until whenever we give away the bike. So there you go. I guess I was conceived around Thanksgiving. Well, there you go, Mark. You didn't want to think about that, and now you'll never not be able to think about it. Mike says I'm October 3rd. Well, I'm October 1st, so I know that I know I was late, and I was a New Year's baby. my parents told me. Oops, Thanksgiving, baby. Missed a couple months. I'm October 15th, air signs. Yeah. Can't wait to see you. Can't wait to see you too, Lisa. I'm really excited to be able to come out and start seeing people and thanking people in person for all of the support and just starting to feel like things are a little bit normal. I'll also tell you guys that more and more shows are getting announced all the time. So keep your eyes on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com because there's a ton of shows getting announced and they're hard to keep track of. And whenever shows get postponed or rescheduled or whatever, I always put that stuff up on the website as well. So enjoy the warm weather coming up. Yeah, it's going to be hot as balls. I'm not a meteorologist. That's my forecast. Hot as balls. So get yourself ready and make sure your air conditioning is working. Even though we had the heat on a couple days ago, it's about to get super hot. All right, guys. It was good to see you. I'm sorry that Wednesday didn't want to hang out more than she did. She's being a pill tonight. I don't know what's going on. You know what I think it is? It's staying later, longer. Staying lighter later is what I meant to say. And lighter longer. And there's so many people now that the weather is getting nicer that are out walking, and she is not having it. The little guard dog of mine is barking when people walk by the house. She's pissed. All right, guys, good night. Thank you for all the love and support over the last week and for all the kind words about the husband as well. So I'll see you guys next week.